week 3, and we're talking about the rule against perpetuities. Let me read you from the textbook a classic textbook example of the rule against, of a scenario where the rule of perpetuities would come in. Okay, so here we go. Here's our hypothetical. Okay, 2A, so long as the property is used for church purposes, then to B. Okay, so this is an executory interest. Okay, B is the party that has a future interest. See, 2A, so A gets the fee simple. In other words, they get the house, they possess it, it's in their name. What they have here is A has a property, a present interest. So long as the property is used for church purposes, then to B. Okay, so here it is. A has a property. As long as he uses this property for church, then the property will go to B. Okay? B has a future interest. A has a present interest. A fee simple. The future interest that B has is an executory interest. Now, what happens here is if the property is not used for church purposes, then the future interest is destroyed. Okay, so B doesn't get it. Now, where the RAP comes in, no interest is good unless it must vest, if at all, no later than 21 years after some life in being at the creation of the interest. Okay. What this rule is doing is it doesn't want to have the scenario where A has a present interest in the property and there's a future interest that's hanging out there and it's not vested yet because B does not have an interest in a vested interest yet, because there's a happening that can occur. The property could be used for some other reason than for church. Now, if that occurs, or if, here we go, if there's a possibility that the property can be used for some other reason, say for a circus instead of a church, if it's possible that can happen 21 years after some life in being, and some life in being, that's another session we can have, are the principles or the people involved in this creation of this interest. It's that they are the lives and beings. Okay, those are the folks that A would be one. Other people that are present or have something to do with it, measuring lives, and we can talk about that another time. But it's can this property vest 21 years later after these lives and beings, these people that are involved here, die, pass away. So they all pass away. 21 years later, say 22 years later, can A, or can this property be used for something else? Let's say 22 years later they stop using it for church and they build a ski resort there, or a circus, or something else on this campus, on this piece of property. Is it possible that this can happen 22 years or 21 years afterwards? And the answer is yes, likely. Therefore, the rule against perpetuities would destroy that future interest. And it would make this here just a fee simple. So in other words, to A, he would have his present interest, and this rule would just destroy the future interest to B. So he would have an interest, or B would have no interest. A would have a fee simple absolute. Whether or not they kept a church on it, that's irrelevant anymore. He just has a fee simple. Okay, we'll talk about more next week. Thank you.